Good evening, everybody. You know, I only say that because Rowan Atkinson started the entire second season of The Thin Blue Line with
Good evening, everybody.
And I just think there's something funny about it, and I laugh every single time he does it. There's no reason to laugh, but it's just anything he does is directly connected to my funny bone. So anyway, let's move on. I've decided to start a new series on my YouTube for lack of better ideas, which is I just sit here and rant at the camera every single night, and I try to post it unedited. So here we are. I try to talk about what is on my mind that night, what I've been thinking about throughout the day, be it a day off or working or what have you. And tonight today's been kind of a weird day. For example, Manchester United won for a change.
Manchester United prosper in a real tug of war of a game. Manchester United 3, Newcastle United 2.
Which is a huge difference in what a Premier League day would be for me. It's pretty difficult to come to terms with, our team doing well with one game left in the Premiership. So, moving on. That was the early stages of the day. One thing that I've been thinking about. I should provide some context. I was doom scrolling for a while today on Instagram, and one of the reels is of this Shaolin monk who is gaining some popularity. Maybe only in my algorithm, but he's gaining some traction there.
Discipline your thoughts. Stop thinking too much. Don't go into the past. Don't go into the future. Be in the present. Why? Because only then it's possible that the mind is free, the capacity is free, and now you can completely immerse into whatever you are doing. And this means you have arrived.
And one thing he tries to get across to everyone is that you need to not live in the past nor in the future, and live in the present. I'll try to find the link and post a clip, but I try not to edit these videos. Well, I'm going to try not to edit these videos as much as I can, but sometimes I need to add a clip. So, moving on. What he tries to get across is to not live in the past, not live in the future. Only then can your mind truly be free. Living in the present moment makes your mind free. It's pretty easy to say that. Well, what I thought, pretty easy to say that for him and then just move along. At the time where I watched it, I was like, here comes another loaded statement from, X person. And it didn't really click. It didn't really click in my head until, after the kids were in bed, and I'm ready to do some work, and I had decided to do this one video a night thing a while ago, so this is the first time I'm actually getting a chance to try it. And as you can see, I'm in a new location, same house, different room. I've been relegated to the guest room because I have an infant daughter who sleeps in our room, so I had to move my studio. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, it didn't click at the time, and now it's clicking. Before I hit record, I was thinking about what I'm gonna say here. I mean, ramblings of, just ramblings don't make for a um, they don't make for a good video. So I needed to have a subject matter which I wanted to wrap this whole thing about tonight. And this is going to happen every night. Not all of them are going to be Pulitzer Prize winning speeches. But here we are. So, the concept. Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Live in the present, and you'll truly be free. Didn't click at the time. Swipe. Went to the next funny thing, which I enjoy. So, after I put the kids to bed, now the kids are sleeping, I'm sitting here thinking what I'm going to talk about, and it clicks. Because before I started to record this video, I was thinking, man, I got to go to work tomorrow, and I'm going to miss the kids, I'm going to miss the wife. I feel like I should have enjoyed my days off more. And and that's when it clicked. That's when I was like, oh, that's what he's talking about. If you're living in the future, at the time where my kids were awake and I was hanging out with the wife, or living in the past when the kids are asleep and I'm ready to work, you're going to be trading off these moments, and living in the present, enjoying every moment as it comes, is the only true way to be free. And it clicked, and it got me thinking that my state of mind has a little bit of work to do. And as a Christian guy, I try to base everything off of my core beliefs, right? I try to compare and contrast my thought processes and the way I think about things with who I am as a person, with my core beliefs. So, it struck a chord with me. It struck a chord with me how I'm not being so present. So, like, for example, and that's the ugliest face you can make. I'm not taking that out. For example, when the kids are up, I have a 4-month-old, almost a 4-month-old, and a 2.5-year-old. So there's, if one's not crying, the other one is egging the other to cry. So there's not a lot of silent moments where I can sit and reflect, sit and ponder, sit and contemplate. There's not a lot of moments where I can sit and think about the complexities of life. And the fact that my wife deals with that for the entire day while I'm at work is a whole other video. Maybe I'll make tomorrow's video about that, because that is an actual superpower. You get me an hour into this, without my wife, and I'm like, time out. I'm gonna go hide in a closet. I'm gonna start crying until she gets home. Anyway, so there's not a lot of time to reflect while they're awake. So I find myself doing certain things. I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm listening to a video, or I change the channel, or it's like, oh, maybe it's not so bad if my kid watches 30 more minutes of TV, 30 more minutes than we usually think is acceptable for him. Or if the baby is crying for, it's just a minute, like, will you quit crying? I'll be right there. You're not that hungry. I fed you an hour and a half ago. You know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to sound like a bad parent, but that's the reality of it. You find yourself doing these things that make it okay, that make your current situation okay. Only now, I've been sitting here thinking for about an hour before recording this video, and it's you know, it's a little bit of cowardice, right? Sounds like a little bit of cowardice. So it's really making the statement click that if you're living in the past or if you're living in the future, you're locked in with regret or anxiety. Living in the past, you're looking at the decisions you made and you're like, man, should have made a better decision on that one. Screwed that one up. Why did I raise my voice at my kid? Like he was just overstimulated, or he was just hungry, or give me 1,000 different reasons why kids yell. You know what I mean? Or looking into the future, like, oh man, like this world today, where are these kids gonna go to school? Where are these kids going to, be able to thrive? And where can I provide these kids with a childhood that was similar to mine? Because if you ask me, I was born in '88, so I'm a '90s baby. '90s era babies, '90s humanity peaked at that point. I don't care who you are, '60s, blah blah blah, flower power. '90s peaked. '90s was the best humanity could do. So, having 2 kids now, I need to provide them with the best possible upbringing that I could afford. And where and how can I give them that? You're thinking in the future, and I bumped the microphone. You're thinking in the future, and it's difficult not to get anxious because, just look around us. Open a news app. Don't open CNN. Open a news app, and you will really know what anxiety is if you have young children. There's a lot to be anxious about, is all I'm trying to say. So it really tied this together. It really tied the fact together that if I'm looking at my past decisions, an hour or 2 ago, my kid started yelling before I put him to bed, where I was like, hey, it's time to go to bed. And he's like, no, 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 no. And as cute as it is, you say that about 400 times, it's going to start getting on my nerves. And then you look into the future, open a news app and see, 4 people killed down the street for crossing the street at the wrong time of day. It's terrible. It is terrible. So, I guess for tonight's subject matter, it's my, contemplation that I need to be more present. I need to give a better example to my kids on how to be more present. Because if I'm just deer in the headlights, I'm here, I'm doing the tasks, but my heart is, or my brain is hundreds of thousands of light years away. You know what I mean? It's just not giving the best example. And that's my rant for this evening. Be more present. I'm probably gonna go watch some, Bruce Lee interview videos where he's gonna tell me to be like water, my friend. That's my thing for tonight. Be more present. Stop looking in the past. Stop being anxious about the future. Live in the present moment. understand and be grateful for the hundreds of millions of blessings. I mean, I'm sitting here as a healthy human being. Is that not a blessing enough? Like, the more I say it, the more it's coming out of my mouth, the more ashamed I feel. You really have to be, because, man, the world is crumbling around us. There's wars going on. There's people who can't just sit in their room and complain about being anxious or being, so blessed. So blessed. I need to count my blessings, be more grateful. That is the point of this evening's video. So this is the inaugural first episode of me telling you what's going on in this head. And I just noticed, here it is right here, I just noticed how shiny my head is. So for tomorrow night's video, I'm gonna wax my head and it'll be even shinier. So the whole video will be overexposed. It'll be hilarious. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Good night.